Can we do one more round of applause for you guys? We're throwing you off the stage. Thank you, so great, thank you. Incredible. I think this counts as it's like 2 a.m. at the bar. We've had 50 events during Philly Tech Week. 300 of you came through Builders yesterday. We're here to wrap you up and send you back out into the world.
It's not quite last call. Let me kind of go back to what we just learned at this panel before we go to last call. What I thought was so interesting and what I heard that was really great was diving into the messiness, but willing to do the work to not only thrive, but thrive differently. And I think that's something that Philadelphia can do an amazing job with, right? When we think about Philly, I think about this last week, all these events that we've been to. What Philadelphia does better than anybody I know is when you give it a challenge, it shows up, right? And our community has shown up, shown that it is willing to get in, be messy, and do the hard work of collaboration that we need to make sure that this city really raises its profile and does the work that we need to do so that Philadelphia is not going to look like these other tech hubs, right? We have unique ingredients. We have something special to add that these other cities don't. So I'm really excited to see the panel talk about that work and folks here that are willing to do the work as well.
And for Builders Conference, we're talking about storytelling from people across geographies. That case study, I actually want to call out from that panel, something that Tamia said, I hope she can hear me, that there's that moment where Ashley Putnam from the Philly Fed goes, is AI gonna disrupt your career? And to me, I think more confidently than she even realized is no, I'm gonna build it. Her answer was, yeah, it's a great skill to have. And I actually think that for me stood out to me, that Ashley was like, how's this gonna change? And she's like, I'm gonna ride it. And I think that is, for the storytelling of technology, everything I've learned, we too often assume everything's deterministic. We will, quite literally, people who are out at events this week, who are at this Builders Conference, more than you realize, we are going to decide some of what takes place in this technology. So I want to thank, again, Danae. 15 years ago, we had technically helped start Philly Tech Week, but it was one Philadelphia and Danae who led Philly Tech Week this year and in the last several years, and is the steward of Philadelphia's entrepreneurship community. So thank you, Danae, and the whole Philly Tech Week team. Incredible.
Thank you for starting the vision.
Great. So a couple announcements that will throw you out. So next year is 2026. So around the country, we'll be celebrating 250 years since the American Revolution. And there should be and will be lots of different conversations and events around the country. Philadelphia will host a bunch of stuff because so much of that American Revolution took place here. We've talked a lot about how the technology and entrepreneurship community writ large should come back to Philadelphia and how Philadelphia's community specifically should show up. So a couple announcements in that vein. Our Builders Conference, we technically aim to be kind of a national steward of storytelling in ecosystem building and for entrepreneurship. I think we haven't gotten I haven't looked at the final tally. I don't know if we got to 25 states, but at least we're at 20 plus states represented yesterday. I am going to try to ambitiously say, how do we get to 50 states? How do we get full representation at our Builders Conference around storytelling? And we're targeting the May 7th, 8th, 2026. A Philadelphia-specific thing that, Danae just teased me about this. But the Technically Newsroom in all of our markets have been asking questions of communities about how vision for 250 years in the future would look to celebrate next year. So we don't only look at the past, but we also look at the future. So the Technically Newsroom in all of our communities are asking that question. In Philadelphia, we're 500 people deep into a draft vision statement, a 250-word vision statement for Philadelphia, 250 years in the future. And you can see that right now at technical.ly/PHL250. Thanks to Danae, who a couple times has let us come at one PHL's events and share and get feedback on that. We'll keep doing that this summer, and then by the fall, we hope to finalize it. And so then 1 year from now, basically, I will inevitably be wearing a hard hat, even though I don't need to, just because I want to take a ribbon cutting photo with a vision statement and wear a hard hat, because I'll have no other opportunity to do that. So we'll do that. And thank you, Danae, for helping us get there. A thing that we're suggesting together maybe for Philadelphia, but I think there could be lessons for other communities. When we started Tech Week, and now as a couple of people have pointed out, happily that model is around the country. The original ask was host of an event. That was what the low lift ask was. We were like, how do we build coalition 15 years ago? We said, just do any event of any kind. And that was the initial stage of that coalition building. What's the next stage of coalition building? We're asking every company, organization, institution, anyone with stakeholdership, startup level or corporate level, to share some kind of bold announcement a year from now that can say, in this sense, from Philadelphia, but we hope that we can ask our ecosystems across the country to do something similar to celebrate a big future. Two last ones, a fun one and an intentional one. So 12 years ago, we had technically kicked off one of the first Philly Tech Weeks with what is still the Guinness Certified World's Largest Video Games. I regret that some of the world records have become silly, because we were very proud of this one, because it was 12 years ago, and on the side of the Cirrus Center, which is a 29-story building a few blocks from here, with my dear friend Frank Lee, a Drexel professor, each individual light on the exterior of the skyscraper has an IP address. And Frank was a technologist, and I was the annoying emailer to get us access to that building. Yep. Can you believe that?
Fun fact, that was actually the first time that Coded was participating in Philly Tech Week, and then we had our students do that on the side of the building. So look, from there to here.
To there. I think there's a beautiful family photo, actually, of Danae, and I think your kids are there. So this is very real. So 12 years ago, we do this. This is where we first kind of helped build and grow our relationship.
And now you're my work husband.
Exactly. Isn't this beautiful? This is the dream.
Yeah, dream. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I think it's great.
Not nightmare. Just kidding.
So, my friend Dr. Lee, we're committed to do something again bold. We think, we've talked to our dear friends at Brandywine Realty. Jerry Sweeney has been a great champion. The CEO of Brandywine owns that building. So some version of that, video game, again, representation of the sciences in some artistic way, but we'll do something on that building and around as spectacle. And to wrap the kind of builder's perspective on storytelling, I'm hoping that we technically can help use this as kind of a demonstration project of what we think happens next in storytelling. Many of us, you could do the really great panel conversation 10 years ago and be different. And I think those days are done. We need those panels for coalition building, right? I think actually Dell spoke to that really well, that still is how we build coalition. But when we're talking about how our ecosystems get reputation, I think we are, whether you like this or not, are in a very attention narrow environment where if you want to stand up, we have to do something bold and big. So we technically hope to be working with many of you and say, for Philadelphia, where we got started, we aim to do a large scale spectacle like the world's largest video game for this ecosystem, and then we hope to help others do the same. One last note, and then Danae and I will talk a little bit about next year and get you out of here. Some of you folks, a very Philadelphia note, but I think it'll tie back to my comments earlier. Reed Gustero was an incredible longtime organizer of meetup communities in Philadelphia, going back to early 90s. And we lost him last year. Just 1 year ago, actually at Philly Tech Week, he was at our developers conference and helped organize one of the many gatherings of Super Meetup, as we have done before. 2 years ago, Reed, as the longtime anchor of the longest running tech meetup in Philadelphia, helped us gather an alumni group of those early organizers. And my dear friend Alex Hillman from Indy Hall, who is here, was a great friend of Reed's as well. And we wanted to do something, and Alex rightly pointed out 2 themes were kind of coming together. I mentioned at the outset of today's programming that next year will also mark 50 years of the Philadelphia Area Computer Society. Reed was at one point its president, and speaks to how long he was a steward of tech meetup organizing in Philadelphia. So though Reed was a great photographer, many of us might remember him from taking photos at so many community events, and we're doing a small fundraiser to donate to a group that helps youth get photography skills access. Alex had the brilliant idea of, we also, across all of our markets, are feeling this, how does meetup culture return? We set up today by reminding us that that is where economic mobility happens. It's accessible events where people from different degrees and educational attainments come together. So Alex is stewarding a fundraising campaign. We hope to launch a chance to give small bits of money, small micro grants, maybe I'm allowed to say, to different meetup groups that are trying to come back. And I think this is something that can mirror in other cities that had strong, robust meetup cultures in the 2010s, maybe got their butts kicked in the pandemic era. Maybe we've lost some of that momentum, but we know the frantic nature of many technical meetups, and that overlap is profound. So we technically will be more further announcing it. We'll publish that. We'll share that in post-event recap. But I wanted to shout out Alex for stewarding this, and it is givebutter.com/communityinfocus to check it out and make a donation. And so Alex, thanks for organizing that. And Reed, who was one of the most genuine and sweetest and warmest people I've ever met in my entire life. It was a very surprising and upsetting thing to learn a year ago. And so we wanted to do something, and Alex, thank you for giving this clarity. So a note for Reed and all of the community organizers that many of you represent. We do a round of applause for that. Thank you. And so I promised I wouldn't overly terrify Danae, because we haven't pulled permits yet for our big spectacle, so things might shift. But if we kept in tradition, these would be the dates.
Yes. Technically.
Yes. So the point is, we're coming back. Philly Tech Week will be back. The Techni Builders Conference will be back. We're targeting those dates, but as I told Danae, I don't have permits in hand, so I can't lock this in. But you can put it in the calendar as a hold. Soft hold.
There you go.
And Danae, can you do a final shout out of this week to thank the people for all your gathering and all your incredible work of 50 plus events?
Yeah, I must say thank you to everyone, because we keep hosting these things and you keep coming back. So truly, truly appreciate that. And I think I would be completely remiss if I did not ask for a round of applause from our guy over here for 15 years, right? We know this work is incredibly difficult, and for you to continue to do it and continue to grind it out, even when we're telling you that's crazy, you say, well, we're doing it anyway. We truly appreciate you. So yes, we're done. Last call for community organizing and ecosystem build.
Love it.
No.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much for
we'll
being
see
here.
you next
Appreciate
year.
it.
Thank you. Look at that.